Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Season 2 of The Santa Clauses, which is the spin-off series on Disney Plus that focuses on the Calvin family as Scott Calvin, who is trying now to find his replacement in his son Cal, and have his daughter, who could speak to animals and connect with magic, try to learn her skills as well in the North Pole, while this nutcracker is revealed to be the Magnus Antus, the old Santa who had been locked away and imprisoned in a nutcracker because he was a bad boy. And this whole season really focuses on this experience and leading up to his antagonistic turn, if you will. And you have Eric Stonestreet of Modern Family fame, who plays Magnus Antus, and he is a lot of fun here. He's very gruff, very mean, and he really knows how to lean into the over-the-top fun kind of vibe that they're going for in this. And what's important is, if you watch this, it's way over the top. If you've watched The Santa Claus, or The Santa Claus 2, or The Escape Clause, any of the three original films, you know, especially progressively through the films, that these gotten really over the top, and especially by the third one. It's campy, it's ridiculous. That's the level of acting going on, that's the expectation. Some of the acting is questionable. Some of the actors really deal with this vibe better than others. I feel like it's trying to get you to Tim Allen frequency, and then everybody else has to play there. And I think Elizabeth Mitchell, who's Mrs. Claus, fits there well. I think the two kids, I think they do fine. I do think Stonestreet really steps up and hits that groove in terms of that over-the-top campiness. Gabriel Iglesias, it winds up spending a bunch of time. His character, Kris Kringle, who runs this big, North Pole type amusement park. He gets a little grating. He's Santa's superfan, Christmas superfan, and he's there and he gets a little obnoxious after a while, and I feel like he'd be a lot. And especially in the last episode, he comes along for why not to the North Pole, and he's just there to be really obnoxious and over the top. I do really like Matilda Lawler, who's Betty, who's the head elf. She gets to play a dual role here because she's also the head gnome who works with the Magnus Antus, and she gets to be I'm mean and I have a unibrow. And I feel like they're having some fun this time around, and, a lot of the humor is very hit or miss in this show, because, it's dumb, it's silly, and there's definitely times where you're just, hard eye roll. And I do feel like there's a lot of padding out, because, this is a 6-episode season. More or less, this is, I don't know, close to probably a 3.5-hour movie. And this really probably could have been trimmed down and just made into a movie. And it definitely feels like it was made for, a Disney Plus budget. But to be perfectly honest, the original films don't look like they have a ton of money either. And especially the third one, which has the most effects, still looks really campy and silly anyway. So I really feel like these things could have just been released as new movies, but I guess they're just trying to do Disney Plus content. And this really feels stretched out at the 6 episodes for this particular story. I do appreciate how they spend the time really trying to flesh out the kids and that dynamic. And it's not particularly deep or fresh in terms of how it's written, but it does have a good message of focusing on understanding your kids and, being open to what they want instead of just what you want. But in the end, I do think this second season is crazy, campy, over the top. If you like the Santa Claus series, it's more that. I don't know if it feels as fresh anymore, but at least it's trying to do some new things with some of, the children character of the Calvin family. But in general, if this isn't your vibe, if Tim Allen's not your thing, you're not going to like this, so what are you watching it for? But it does get you into the holiday spirit, especially with Christmas coming up, so Why not? It's right there on Disney Plus, and if you're paying the increasingly skyrocketing prices for Disney Plus, might as well get some content out of it. But those are my thoughts on the Santa Clauses Season 2. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.